Okay, well, good Monday evening, New York Jets fans and NFL fans. It is September 15th, 2025. It is about 5:48 p.m. You are watching The Takeoff, and my name is Alex, and we are going to recap Week 2 of the New York Jets season, and unfortunately, they are now 0-2. I'm going to start off, first of all, by saying I did not attend the game yesterday. My daughters and I, we had some family situations during the week that I will not get into further than we just needed to be closer to home and not at the stadium. So we wanted to, not miss the game, but we also were unable to attend. It was our choice, so we took care of that. But that also meant that we'd be watching the game either from home or from the local restaurant. So I don't know what the crowd was like. If it was a split like last week with the Steeler fans. Buffalo fans do travel well, so I am not sure. But this is also Week 2, so I'm not sure if a lot of Jet fans, unless they had other obligations like I did not show up yesterday. With that being said, a lot of the team didn't show up yesterday. From the opening drive, you could see that Buffalo was just a lot stronger up front. They were being coached a lot better than we were. They were executing a lot more than we were. And they were finishing a lot better than we were. Early on, it seemed like the Jets were getting to Josh Allen, and he would escape and pick up 12 and 15 and these other large runs that would extend drives. Again, stupid penalties, roughing the passer. You take 2 steps. Well, we had a guy take, I think, close to 4 steps yesterday and then go head to head. And you know what? Josh Allen is going to get that call. Certain quarterbacks are going to get that call. Aaron Rodgers will get that call. Pat Mahomes will get that call. Josh Allen is a quarterback that's going to get that call as well. And I'm not taking away anything because the Jets, even without those calls, not play well. Early on, Justin Fields, as great as he looked last week, with his minimal mistakes, this week the polar opposite. The scouting report on Justin Fields that, couldn't hit open receivers and would fumble the ball, all fell into place yesterday. I believe it was the first or the second drive. He was scrambling, got hit, got the ball punched out of him. Buffalo picked up the ball. Before you knew it, you were down multiple scores, and the Jets can never just catch up. Breece Hall had some nice breaks, but never really, was the threat that he could be. And then when you're down, 17-3 or 20-24 or whatever, you're not running the ball. You're playing catch up, so you try to put the ball in the air. And first of all, the Jets need a number 2 wide receiver. Allen Lazard was out there yesterday. He was returning punts as well. Is he a true number 2? I don't know. Garrett Wilson had a few nice plays. He was also missed on a few passes as well. It was, all in all, a very inept showing by the Jets. Now, you play a team like the Buffalo Bills, who last week were almost run out of the stadium, down multiple scores late in the game, and they come back and win. You could see they could put points on the board. You could see no matter how much you're beating them by, they have the chance to come back. So you cannot be losing to this team, and you can't be losing to them in multiple scores either. You can't be playing catch-up. And the Jets played catch-up for the entire game this week, never had the lead at all. In fact, they did not get a touchdown until late in the fourth quarter, and that was after Justin Fields actually went into concussion protocol. He was hit as he released the ball. He smacked his head. He fell backwards, smacked his head on the turf, and you could see the way the head bounced. He was going to concussion protocol. Tyrod Taylor came out, and he actually led the team to their only touchdown, which brought it to a 30-10 game. I know that's a 20-point difference, but even putting the 10 points on that scoreboard was like a big accomplishment yesterday. So it was just rough to watch. It was rough to see them. Basically, everything that we looked to as positives the week before, even the coaching, went downhill. It just seemed like, and Aaron Glenn said that this morning in his I believe it was today's press conference or yesterday, the Bills beat us at our own game. Pounding the ball, moving the ball, making the passes when they needed to. Cook ran over us. I mean, there was a few times when we stopped him at the line of scrimmage and he spun off and, he scored. It just was not a good showing on all the sides of the ball. I won't even talk about special teams because, what was it, an extra point and a field goal. So special teams is the only one that really, didn't really screw up. But this was, to me, unacceptable. And listen, last week, and I keep going back to last week because that was almost, as first game, and you thought that was going to be the benchmark with Aaron Glenn. Xavier Gipson causes us a turnover. He's gone. He's on the Giants. And you basically, the game is decided by a 60-yard field goal late. And it hurts. And you talk about the Giants, their game yesterday was decided by a 64-yard field goal, late in the game, and then they wound up losing it overtime on a 47-yard field goal. And, it's just the way it goes after Russell Wilson put up this brilliant performance. And it was almost like both teams swapped, because last week the Giants looked inept on all sides of the ball. And this week it was the Jets, and the Giants were moving the ball. The Giants put up 30-something points. So it was just a very rough game to watch. I want to have my faith in Aaron Glenn, because like I said, the benchmark last week was no excuses, things will be cleaned up. Well, this week, last week we had one turnover. This week we had another turnover. This was by a quarterback. Last week there was penalties. This week, stupid penalties again. I mean, I've seen Twitter posts where they're calling for Michael Clemens' head, where he shouldn't even be there. He shouldn't be on the team. And you know what? Maybe that is a telltale sign. Maybe, yes, he's costing us yards. We can't have that. We are not the team that can make costly mistakes and try to catch up to them. We are not the team that can get a 15-yard penalty and say, all right, so 15-yard penalty, we gave up on third down, we gave them a first down, we gave them a new set of downs, but we'll overcome that. We're not that good right now, and we haven't been that good in a while. So the discipline needs to be there. Aaron Glenn needs to put in his discipline, and he's going to learn as he's going along, but he still needs to have his finger on this team and his signature on this team. And right now, yesterday looked like a Todd Bowles team, looked like an Adam Gase team, looked like a Robert Saleh team. It looked like the later years of a Rex Ryan team. It looked like, you name the coach that we've had, and you could say that it mimicked them seasons to season. So that was the most disappointing part. The loss, yes, I chalked this up. I thought we were going to win last week, and I figured we'd lose to Buffalo this week. And I thought it'd be 1-1. We're 0-2. 0-2 with 2 conference losses and 1 division loss. And as somebody said on ESPN today, 2 home losses. So you only get 8 to 9 home games, okay, depending on your schedule. You're 0-2 at home. Your next home game is against Dallas, who is 1-1, and who knows what they're going to be in 2 weeks. But not only that, another home game is in London. So it's not even to say, well, you'll have home field advantage for that 9th home game. No, you're not. You're in London. You're going to have a mixed crowd. You're going to have an NFL crowd there. You're not going to have a Jet crowd there. You're not going to have, I believe it's a Bronco crowd there. You may have 25% of each, So you lose 1 home game there too, or the home field advantage. And I don't want to hear, and I had a discussion with somebody today, there's no home field advantage at MetLife. You know what? That's a crock of shit. 2010, when we made that run to the AFC Championship game, MetLife was a home field advantage. The team and its supporters came out. You very, very rarely were outnumbered by other team fans. You were winning. I think we won 11 games that year. 11 or 12 games that year, and we put on some good games there. Okay, so I don't want to hear that MetLife. I don't want to hear that they share a stadium. You know what? The Chargers and the Rams share a stadium. Okay, all those excuses go out the window. You want home field advantage. You know what you do? You put a winning product on the field, and the fans will cheer, and the fans will get loud. Yesterday, I saw frustration watching it on TV. I saw the fans. They were showing the fans, and they're just sitting there. Who's scrolling on their TV, on their phone? Who's doing this? It gets frustrating. Believe me, it happens. But you put a winning team there. You put a productive team there. You put a competent team there. You put a team down that is gonna not come out dull and fight head to head. You will have a home field advantage. I guarantee that. Okay, you could put them in a high school park. I'm actually walking this high school, on a high school field, and you'll have a home field advantage if they are winning, if they are showing you that they are a competent product. So I don't want to hear, oh, home field advantage. No. So, listen, Jets go to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's playing tonight. So tonight is double Monday night games. It's Tampa Bay Texans, I believe, at 7:30. Then Chargers Raiders have the West Coast feed. I think it's 10 or 10:30. First of all, I like to see the way the Raiders come out. Again, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith. And then also you have the Chargers who beat up on Kansas City last week. They could go 2-0 and really, put a hold now on the AFC. Kansas City is 0-2. So tonight's going to show us a lot. And then the Jets, again, they go to Tampa. They're into Florida in the next 2 weeks. And they have to come out of Florida 2-2. I'm sorry, they have to come out of Florida 2-0 to get them to 2-2 before they come home to face Dallas. They have to beat Tampa Bay. They have to beat Miami. Okay, have to. That's without a given. Next 2 weeks are must wins for this team. And it sucks that the third week of the season, the middle of September, third week of September 21st is a must win. It sucks. But here we go. Now, according to Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields is in protocol. He may not be able to go on Sunday. They're going to see how he is. They're going to prepare with Tyrod Taylor. So, listen, I know Tyrod Taylor is a journeyman. He is, been a starter on different teams, a backup on different teams. I'm sure he's more than capable of going down there. If this team is talented enough and coached right, Tyrod Taylor could be their quarterback next week and give them a win in Tampa Bay. Now, I usually don't do this, but I was on Twitter just before I started doing my video, and I'm scrolling, and people talking about the loss yesterday and all that, and I saw a post by a gentleman who said, I know the timing is bad, and I know there's a lot of haters out there, but my son caught his first NFL touchdown yesterday, and I'm proud of him. So I want to give props out to, first of all, Jeremy Ruckert, tight end on the Jets, who is a Long Island boy, so he is a local to the tri-state area, local to the team, and to his father, where I'm going to say, be proud. Your son went out there. No matter what the score was, no matter what drive it was, he caught a touchdown in the NFL, and there are millions of people who can never say they did that, and he went out there and did that. And I hope, Mr. Ruckert, that your son is successful for our team and he catches many more touchdowns. So congratulations to you. I want to give you a shout out. I hope you follow us back here on Twitter and on our videos. But, shout out to Jeremy on his first NFL touchdown. Came against the Bills. It was a loss. But you know what? You will be in the stat sheet as catching a touchdown by Tyrod Taylor in the NFL Week 2, 2025 against the Bills. And, Mr. Ruckert, you will always be able to see or say that your son did that. And hopefully you have more there. So I look to tonight's game, and I want to really watch the Tampa Bay game, the early game, see how they play. They have a good defense. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. Jets will have to face them next week. And then, later on, you have an AFC matchup. You have the Raiders and you have the Chargers. Chargers to go 2-0. I believe the Raiders won last week. I'm not sure. So, early on, there's a lot of moving parts that could affect the Jets. But the main thing is the Jets need to affect the Jets, and they need to start winning. And that will hopefully bring a winning culture. And I right now will give Aaron Glenn the benefit of the doubt. Okay, he seems like a man that takes no excuses. He seems like a man that knows what it's like to build. And it seems like a man whose ego was hurt from the product that was put on his field. So with all that being said, I expect a tremendous change for next week. Again, there's question around Justin Fields and the quarterback situation, but Tyrod Taylor, I think, is more than capable. I mean, if he's not more than capable of going in and filling in for a week or two, if needed, and winning against Tampa Bay and the Dolphins, then it's time for him to move on as well. So, my name is Alex. Again, this is The Takeoff. We are on Twitter. Tweet us what you feel. Give me the critique. I don't care what you say. You know, I've heard it all about being a Jet fan and about the team. Tweet us. At The Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. You could email us. thejets.takeoff@gmail.com. If you're at the game, send us pictures. We'll post them on our videos. And speaking of videos, follow us here on YouTube. The Takeoff is the name of the account. At The Jets Takeoff is the channel. We'd love to get subscribers. We don't do this for money. We don't do this for fame. We do this maybe therapeutically, but also to reach out to other Jet fans. There are so many of us Jet fans out there. You know, going to the games all these years, I met a lot of family friends, connecting with people, even on social media and whatnot. So that's why we do this. It is a pleasure to be able to do this. And I wish we had better videos. But right now, the videos are mostly of coming off Jet losses. You know, when we first started this, just to give you a quick background, it was a website. It was called NY Jet Stories, nyjetstories.com. And we started it in 2008, before we even knew that Brett Favre was coming to the team. And that year, you know, it was kind of slow taking. Then the following year with Rex and Sanchez going to the AFC Championship game, we really thought, you know, okay, these blogs and these stories and articles are going to really be fun to do. And then, of course, after 2010, 11, 12, it started slowing down, and haven't made the playoffs since. But we do it as an act of love, as a labor of love, and just because everything around this team we try to find enjoyment with. So with that being said, have a wonderful Monday. Enjoy the games tonight. There are 2 NFL games on tonight. Have a great week, have a blessed week, whichever you call it. Be healthy, be safe, and reach out to us if you like, and we'll talk to you soon. I will have a video preview probably Thursday, if not Friday, of the upcoming game. If anything could happen in between that, there may be tweets out there. If it is really breaking news, big news, there'll be a video for it. So have a good one.